Hey guys, so here's a list of things to avoid doing during your driving test on driving test day to keep the examiner on your side. So the person here, the guy or girl that's sitting here, we want them on our side, and we do not want to annoy them to increase our chances of passing the driving test. So for those of you that don't know, my name is Pin Binning. I've been a driving instructor for over 16 years, sat in the back of many tests, dealt with many examiners. So these things that may go under the radar, because everyone just focuses mainly on their driving. This is how to drive, this is how to deal with roundabouts, this is how to do maneuvers, and this list of things isn't directly connected with your driving ability, but it's stuff to do during your test which will help keep the examiner on side. So just as I'm about to start the video, he starts pouring it down. Hopefully it doesn't make much difference because I've got the mic quite close by. But yeah, the first one is not arriving at the test centre too early. Only enter the test centre car park 10 minutes before your actual test start time. The reason for this is because there are going to be other learners who are coming back from the test, and if you're in the car park blocking the car spaces, because most test centres don't have large car parks, the examiner that's in that car will notice who's coming early. They do notice that. I've seen instructors get told off for that. So don't enter the car park too early, and the last thing you want is that same examiner who's turned up, you get him for the test or her for the test. It's not going to be a good start. The second one, it's not your responsibility unless you're doing the test in your own car, and that is make sure you don't turn up to the test in a filthy car. If you're taking your instructor's car, then most instructors take pride in making sure they've got a nice clean car, smelling good, but the least you can do if it's your own car is make sure it's hoovered, screens are clean, because as soon as the examiner enters a car, sitting in a nice clean environment does make a difference. When you're inside the test centre waiting for the examiner to come out and call your name, make sure your provisional licence is ready in your hand. The last thing you want is the examiner calling out your name. I've seen this happen, not with my learners, because I make sure everyone has their provisional in their hand. The examiner's called out someone's name and they've asked to check their provisional. They've opened their pocket, then opened their wallet, then looking for their provisional license, and just wasting a minute or so. Just be ready and prepared. Have your license in your hand. Moving on to the next one, it's making sure that you've already carried out an eyesight check before your test day. This should be done when you start lessons, really. You've got to be able to read a number plate from 20.5 meters, and again, I've seen it happen many times on test where the learner can just about read the number plate or can't, so the examiner has to go back, get the measuring tape, measure out exactly the exact distance of 20.5 meters just to make sure the learner is being treated fairly and we're at the correct distance. Again, waste lesson time. So if you need glasses or you've got any problems with your eyesight, get that sorted before your actual test day. The next two kind of go hand in hand. The first one is make sure you know how to open the bonnet of the vehicle. So this is one of the questions that the examiner can ask you before you get in the car. You can say open the bonnet, and he can ask you one of the tell me questions about the engine coolant or brake fluid. And just imagine you've turned up for your test, you waited for a test day, it's your big day, and you haven't even bothered learning how to open the bonnet. It's not going to be a very good start. And leading on from that is the rest of the tell me questions. Make sure you revise them. Again, it's all about having a good start to your test. Again, this one, I wouldn't say these are going to really annoy the examiner, but if I was the examiner, I'd be thinking, wow, they've turned up for a test, not even bothered revising the questions. Okay, just show them from the start that you really want it. Next one is really important, and it's about you listening correctly. So listen out for any extra instructions that the examiner will give you. So for example, say if there's two roundabouts quite close together, the examiner may say something like, there are two roundabouts coming up quite close together. At the first one I want you to turn this way, and at the second one I want you to turn this way. That's your sign to make sure you switch on. You should be listening carefully throughout, yeah, to anything that the examiner says. But when they give you instructions like that, yeah, they're giving you a hint, and if you don't pick up on that, you turn up to the next roundabout, yeah, and haven't got no idea where you're going. That's on you. That's on you, because the examiner's going to be thinking, look, I did everything I could there, yeah. So listen carefully to the instructions. And moving on from that is, this is some advice I normally tell my learners it's okay to do, but again, the examiner's not going to be too happy if you keep doing it, and that is going the wrong way. Yeah, so look, if you're in the wrong lane and it's too late to change lanes, you've got to do what's safe. You've got to just go in that direction, yeah, go the wrong way. But if you keep doing it, what happens is the examiner has to change the test route, so whatever they've planned kind of goes out the window. And I have had examiners tell me at the end of the test, my learner has passed though. They were a bit annoyed that they got late coming back because my learner took 4 wrong turns, yeah. So yeah, I shouldn't be smiling, but the main thing was they passed. But like I keep saying, let's not annoy the examiners. Before we continue with the rest of the points, any of you that are learning to drive, make sure you download my Ultimate Driving Course app. It's got everything you need on every single topic, yeah, required to pass the driving test. Got all my teaching techniques, and say if your instructor has missed anything out, I've got you covered. For this next one, all I'm going to say is don't take the mick carrying out your observations. So for example, when you ask to move off, yeah, obviously you've got to make sure everything's safe, but what we don't want is robotic movement like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, if you can see it's clear, check and get moving. Yeah, do not do that kind of movement. Yeah, it's just gonna, like, you're gonna take extra long moving off, and it's not going to impress the examiner whatsoever. And moving on from that one is another one to do with observations. It's about not checking your mirrors way too much. Don't overdo it with your mirror checks. Yeah, examiner's not going to be impressed with that if you're just driving and just constantly doing this. Yeah, I hear learners say that all the time. I'm just going to keep checking my mirrors, keep checking my mirrors. No, focus on what you can see ahead, and then from what you can see ahead, according to that, check your mirrors. Yeah, so for example, if you see a parked car, you're going to move over to the right, so it's center and right mirror. Not just checking any mirror all the time, yeah. Focus on what you can see ahead and act upon that, yeah. Like I just said, check your mirrors accordingly. Right, did you guys hear that? We're almost at the end of the video, but this rain just got louder and louder. Hopefully it doesn't affect the sound quality. What was the next? Oh, the next one is your phone, guys. Just switch it off, yeah. Okay, don't even put it on silent. So many of you don't get many calls, but then you have this sound effect going off all the time in the background. I think it's Snap or whatever. But yeah, that does get really annoying, yeah. So make sure your phone is switched off before you test, yeah. Not even on silent. Now this one, guys, is about talking to the examiner. My advice is don't do it unless you're spoken to. Yeah, so most examiners will speak to you at the right time. Yeah, for example, when you're waiting at traffic lights, they might ask something like, what would you be doing today if you weren't on your test? Yeah, just keep it simple. Yeah, I have had some people who have passed their test years ago tell me that, yeah, that they only passed because they started talking to the examiner, and the examiner didn't notice something just because they kept talking. Guys, that ain't gonna happen. Yeah, so just focus on your driving. When the examiner speaks to you, just answer back then, yeah. Don't try and overdo it with a conversation. Right, guys, so that is it. That's my list of things to avoid. And any of you that have got your driving tests coming up, I wish you all the best. And don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.